My name is Paprzcki. Although it says photographer there, I'm actually an economist by training, and photography is just a sideline. And I'm afraid my topic is completely different from everybody else's this evening. I'm going to be talking about Madagascar, a recent trip I did to Madagascar. And so I hope I'm not going to bore you with my holiday photos, but that's basically what they are. So about 15 years ago, my brother went to Madagascar for 6 months for very obscure reasons, which I won't go into at the moment. During the time he was there, my mom visited him, and ever since then our home has been full of stories of Madagascar. And then in 2009, the BBC had the program Last Chance to See with Stephen Fry and Mark Cavordin on it. And when I saw the episode on Madagascar, I just knew I had to go. If people know anything about Madagascar, if they associate anything with it, it's probably either the movies or maybe the wildlife. And Madagascar is spectacular for its wildlife. About 90% of the wildlife in Madagascar is endemic, meaning that it is found only in Madagascar. The most famous species, of course, is the lemurs, which range from the indri in size, which is the largest, to the mouse lemur, which is the smallest primate on the planet. But they also come in all sorts of sizes in between, like the sportive lemur, which is called such because when it's threatened, it adopts the pose of a boxer. Unfortunately, much of the wildlife in Madagascar is threatened, but still nevertheless relatively easy just as a simple tourist to go and see some. If you go to a national park or a private reserve, there will be guides there that take you around and point them out to you. So I was close to these for maybe an hour just by myself with a guide and watching their family there. The other species that Madagascar is famous for, of course, is the chameleon. This is the largest one, Parsons chameleon, which can reach up to 68 centimeters. The smallest ones are the size of a fingernail. But probably even weirder than the chameleons are the leaf-tailed geckos. We were standing right next to the one on the right. I think the background makes it even more difficult to see it, but didn't spot it until the guide actually put his finger on it. So I don't know. But it's not the wildlife in Madagascar that actually is quite bizarre, but also some of the plants, especially in the south, which has a spiny desert, and you have plants there like bottle baobab trees, octopus trees, or the elephant's foot that you see here. This particular one, although it's tiny, is already 20 years old, so they grow extremely slowly. Another iconic image of Madagascar is the baobab alley here. The baobab trees here are about 800 to 1,000 years old, but they didn't always tower in isolation the way they do now. They were surrounded by dense forest until about 100 years ago, which was cleared for agriculture. Another plant that Madagascar is famous for is vanilla, and that grows mainly in the tropical northeast in a region aptly called the Vanilla Coast. Cultivation and processing of vanilla is extremely labor-intensive, involving killing the plants by dipping them into almost boiling water, then sweating and then drying them, a process that takes up to 9 months. And then after that, the vanilla is sorted and graded by quality. But unless you fly in and out, getting to or away from the Vanilla Coast is actually not quite straightforward. So this is the grandly labeled Route Nationale number 5. I can tell you not all roads in Madagascar look like that. And because of cyclones, many of the bridges actually have been destroyed, and one river crossing was more adventurous than the other. But actually they provided quite welcome relief, because we were crammed into this pickup truck with about 25 other passengers, so that getting out gave some relief to our very sore bums. That was my spot on the back of the pickup truck there, right next to the right, that's my wife there. At least we had some legroom and a view, which many of the people behind us didn't. But what actually made the journey bearable was the Malagasy passengers who bore the whole journey with great stoicism and good humor. What's interesting about Madagascar is that the people actually look quite different from Africans on the continent, and the reason is that they originally come from Southeast Asia, and the first humans arrived in Madagascar about 2,000 years ago. The special part in Malagasy culture is played by the zebu, and this is a scene of a cattle of a zebu market, which is held weekly, that people walk to for days to sell their zebu at. Although the Malagasy are much more reserved than Africans on the continent, it's still pretty easy to chat with them if you speak a little bit of French. And in case you're wondering about the face, the paste on the girl's face on the left there, that is made from a special type of tree and is used to protect the skin against the sunshine. And speaking of the sun, traveling in Madagascar is a lot of hard work, but it also offers some of the nicest beaches to unwind afterwards. And if you add to that giant lobsters for just £5, or a zebu steak, some of the best steak I've ever eaten, or a cold 3 Horses beer while watching the sunset, then life can't get much better than that. And in case you're wondering about the title of my presentation, Mura Mura, this actually means slowly, slowly. This is a postcard there, and I don't know whether you can actually read it. The caption there says, Mercedes dropped out, and there goes the zebu cart, overtaken by the zebu cart. So certainly the pace of life in Madagascar is quite different from, requires a lot of time and patience when you go and travel there, but I certainly found it extremely rewarding and beyond my expectations based on the family stories that I heard before. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you.